Hi, friends, and welcome to the wonderful and exciting world of talking with famous people. Ore Sama, my esteemed self, is host Eric, and I'm host of Talking with Famous People. I titled this video Ore Sama because, hi, Octavia Silva. I have that for you this morning. It's a special gift. I got it at the fart store. Anyway, the thing that strikes me is of all the incredibly significant claims that I made, and I mean, I make lots of significant claims. All it takes is one claim about my own self. Like, it takes one claim for me to say, like, I'm the beginning of cognitive functions, or, I'm right and everybody else is wrong, or something like that. Anything where it seems to be esteeming myself and people get absolutely furious. The thing is, a challenge, of course, is this is to be expected, sort of, because, it's like Japanese culture is the ultimate expression of this anti-individualist notion that people should never aggrandize themselves. And if they do, they need to be taken down a notch. No, my esteemed self. No, Ore-sama, Like, of course, the challenge is that if you don't fight for your whatever it is you're doing, who will? If you're not your own biggest believer, who's going to be? And why should they be? If you don't believe in what you're doing, why should anybody else? If you don't believe in what you're saying, why should anybody else? I didn't delete your comments. Nobody's deleting your comments. Nobody's removing any comments. So, it could be conceivable that Octavia's not deleting your comments. I'd be able to tell if any comments are being removed. Every time a comment's removed, even if it's retracted by the person, it leaves an indication to me that somebody retracted a comment, although not what that chat was. So anytime any chat is removed from the chat, it leaves an indication to me. Even though if it doesn't tell me what was removed, it still leaves an indication that something was removed. So it's not the case that anything's being removed. And you're being paranoid. That's fucking Google Sensor or something. It's the newest member of the Google family, Google Sensor. And it prevents people from writing fart. They can't start with fart. It can write it after a certain amount of time. Google Sensor. The product they offer to the Chinese government mostly, but so I was, I finished. I watch a lot of anime. I finished the entire series Tora and Uoshi and Tora. I don't know if anybody's familiar with it. It's like 40 episodes or something. And I watched the whole goddamn thing. It's been like 2 days I finished the whole thing. What am I watching now? Well, Uoshi and Tora, it's pretty great. And I gotta tell you, one thing I appreciate about it, and I've determined that I have a very love-hate relationship with anime's habit of Ushio and Tora. I'll put the link to it here. Anime has a habit of putting like half-naked anime girls all the time in their shows, and it's distracting. You know, it's like I end up like Rachel's gone to bed, I'm watching more anime, and then I end up wanting to err on the side of Pornhub. It's like if you watch enough anime with it's got like big boobed girls in it and stuff, it's like you're getting tired. And Japanese schoolgirl being undressed in public. Something like that. Why do Asians like to infantilize so much? I don't know, but they've got some hilarious jokes about it too. One show that's quite funny is that I just started last night as I looked at random. They have a random button on Crunchyroll, which is great. And I was watching this thing called Survival Game Club or something, which is about these chicks who play airsoft in high school. Except in the show they say like this is just the girl's imagination, but the guns, when they're all running around with their guns and playing airsoft, the guns are acting like real guns, and so they run up to each other and like shoot each other in the head, and then all the blood blows out the back of their head and stuff. And one of the girls in this show loves being smacked around by another one of the girls because she's a masochist and a lolly. I had to look up lolly the first time I saw it in an anime. Somebody referred to a girl as, you know, get out of here, you lolly. And I said, what the fuck's a lolly? And it's an adult lady who likes to look as young as possible. There's this other thing I saw last night that it's pretty funny. I guess Japan produces not only like full length animes, right? But they also produce little shorts, like 4 minutes long or whatever. Some cartoons are like that, little supposedly comedic shorts or whatever. But I watched a couple episodes of this one last night that it's a Japanese guy who discovers a merman by the side of the river. It's this merman, but he's really beautiful looking. He's got like long blonde hair and kind of like a feminine face, and he appears to be injured. So the guy takes him back to his apartment, and then the merman decides to live in his bathtub. And just that's the whole plot. It's like it's 4 minutes long. A guy comes up from work and complains to the merman about him using too much hot water. What the fuck are these people doing? Have you seen Osomatsu-san? No, I haven't. Oreo-sama is Japanese for my esteemed self. So technically the topic of this video is how to make sure that you incur utmost rage from other people. You can make the most dramatic claims in the world you want about real ideas, and they'll get roundly ignored. But if you make any kind of dramatic claim about yourself, you will be subject to relentless rage and attack. I will prove all my enemies wrong, Eric Anime. Leave Drummer, I want to see that show made. A superhero style anime where I go around and prove people wrong, as God intended me to do. You know, that's why God created Eric, so that other people can learn how wrong they are. Now, I want to agree with at least Tremor's central notion here that Asian girls talking like this is fucking ridiculous. It's the most ridiculous thing. It's like, like, come on. That is not your real voice. You are totally faking. And the way Asian girls, like in porn, they sound like they're just being like torn to pieces by this little Japanese guy, right? You know, it's like, what are you being? Are you being subject to chemical weapon attack or something? You know, I mean, who makes noises like that? It's like, I'm helplessly being subjected to something. No, you're not. No, you are not. You are not helplessly being subjected to something despite your best efforts, which is what you'd like to try to convey to us, lady. DDLG? What's DDLG stand for? I'll have to look it up, I guess. Baby metal, give me chocolate. Daddy down, little girl fetish. Oh, I see. Oh, that's not nasty. I mean, it's just it's just a form of sexual hierarchy or whatever. You know, that's so implicit in at least heterosexual sex. It just is implicit in it. It's like, you know, men think that well, no, I don't think they pretend that they're actually their dad and child. I think it's again, it's a hierarchy, dominant submission thing, right? So it's like when males are attracted to women, then they think, you know, ultimately it boils down to I'm going to defile that innocence with my penis. And so there's always this sense of like, you know, conquering or something that goes along with sex implicitly. It's okay, well maybe I'm not okay, maybe there are people who do that. I don't know. that seems weird to me. I mean, I guess it seems like you'd be pretending to be incestuous. I don't know why that would be appealing to anybody. But whatever. I mean, he's not actually being incestuous, so I guess if it's consenting adults, it's fine. But well, leave Termer, don't get super defensive. I'm going to come to your defense here a little bit. I think the reality is the no fap movement has multiple frames of reference. It can be framed through a dopamine weaning frame, because I've noticed that's one theme on YouTube videos that's like how to do things that are more difficult in life. Wean yourself from the dopamine addictions. And fapping is a very straightforward dopamine addiction. It's like, like last night I was flipping through some random animes and I ended up watching that survival game club one, which, the main character in it, well, one of the characters in it is a breast model. So, so anyway, it's like, it's time to go to bed. And I was like, do I want to rip one out? And the answer was no, because of course I don't have infinite loads and I'd prefer to use them on Rachel. Just because, if for no other reason than being a good relationship partner, Of course, she's so, we're both so like, as long as you're happy, I'm great, We're both so much like that it's strange. The thing is, Lee Trimmer, no, I don't agree with what you said. I said, and Lee Trimmer says, Eric, so you agree with my point from months ago that men are in the dominant role in sex. My point is that heterosexual sex involves some sort of conquering of, metaphorical conquering of the woman by the man. But you don't necessarily have to be a heterosexual, right? You could be not a heterosexual. Bridled titmouse. I like to bridle my titmouse as well. because I find that they're a lot easier to ride with a bridle. I like to saddle my titmouse as well. I like to bridle and saddle my titmouse and then ride it around the house. Now, is it true that the titmouse is actually a bird? Is it? I don't know. I don't think so. Well, I'm not into your naturalistic fallacies, leaf trimmer. Okay. I'm a little beyond naturalistic fallacies. Rachel and I had an interesting conversation yesterday, though, about whether peacocks could be gay. It's a very interesting question. Can a peacock be gay? And here's why it's an interesting question. Because every time it's mating time for the peacocks, all the males are spreading out their feathers, even if they don't even have them yet. They're like teenage males, right? They just have like kind of brownish feathers like the lady peacocks. KD, if men have to do all the work, you're in the wrong relationship. All the degenerates moved to Twitter. So I don't think peacocks can be gay. I don't think they can, because I've seen peacocks made before. What happens is the male puts out his feathers like a big fan, and then the female will walk kind of near him and then like pretend. Female peacocks are kind of like Japanese girls. They pretend like, oh no, what are you doing? When the peacock man comes and starts to hump it, but it's over so fast. It's like the lady peacock kind of walks near the man, and then she kind of goes in front of him and kind of squats down for a second, and he just like jumps on her, and it's like, and she goes, and then it's over. That's how it is with peacocks. The thing is, that makes it more or less impossible for peacocks to be gay, because since the males are always spreading their feathers out, they're never going to go duck down in front of another male with feathers, because when one male with feathers has their feathers up, it makes the other male put their feathers up too. So they're like, no, my feathers are better, What happens to epipolar in Japan? Whew. I mean, I think, it's like the rules are so regimented for hierarchy that that I think they don't have to attend to it naturally as much. Well, leaf trimmer, no, I think my response is better, which is that there are multiple frames of reference. Some of them are dopamine related. Some of them are testosterone related. Some of them might be religious or ethical. Some of them might be linked to one's understanding of relationships. So for example, I think it's a bad idea for me to fap in a relationship very often for the reasons I already articulated. It's being a good relationship partner means directing your sexual energies primarily towards your relationship partner and not handling everything yourself, So, in that sense, you might say I'm part of the no-fap movement, even though I wouldn't self-identify as such. So I think there are a lot of different reasons why. I think, The people, there are a lot of people, a lot of ESFPs, basically, who want to have bullshit NISE links thrown at them. Water fast, eat a lot, drink a lot of water, hold in your semen. It's like those kind of things are all incredibly dumb. Incredibly dumb. Like, you shouldn't have rules for SI that purportedly get you NI, which is what ESFPs want to have happen. What the heck is this? Well, Elite LP, this, you might say, is my esteemed self. Why do you get this recommended? You must have incredibly good taste in YouTube videos. That's what I would suggest. After all, you've happened upon the single greatest stream YouTube has to offer, hosted by Ore-sama, my esteemed self. And yeah, we talk about a lot of different stuff here, pretty important stuff. Right now, we're talking about something extremely important to you. What's really important to you, Elite LP? Smoking crack, you say? Well, you go ahead and you pack your crack pipe full of crack then and smoke up. I'm all for it. Smoking is bad? Do you mean bad prescriptively or bad normatively? Because it certainly makes me look cool. See? That's a lot of coolness. You're feeling a little bit envious. That's why I'm such an esteemed self, I guess. Aside from their tendency to dismiss these, to what extent are IXTPs actually aware of others' perceptions? Well, ISTPs are not if I die by getting hit by a bus first, right? Well, they're only unhealthy if they kill me. If I die of something else first, then it turns out they weren't unhealthy after all. Elite LP, I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to warn you in advance. It's a trick question. Out of how many 100 people, out of 100 smokers, how many of them do you think have lung cancer? What does Ore-sama mean? It means my esteemed self in Japanese. Because the actual topic of this video is how self-aggrandizing incites a lot of anger, even though it's more or less like claims about your own importance or significance or greatness or whatever are insignificant claims because they're not saying anything. And yet they incite a lot more response than significant claims that say things that are themselves controversial. When I make a really good TI video about cognitive functions, that's really TI crazy serious, no comments. Why? Because the people who understand it can't find anything to dispute, and the people who can't understand it don't watch it. Well, that's true. 100 out of 100 smokers die, but I said of lung cancer. So we have to include all the words I say when we try to understand sentences. You almost got lured into a car? Did somebody put like a dollar bill on a fish hook? Is that how they lured you into a car? What if you get hit by a bus crossing the street to go buy cigarettes? Okay, then you're right. Then cigarettes are bad for your health. That's how we interpret healthiness. It was Cloud. It was Cloud trying to lure Leaf Trimmer to Bulgaria or wherever he was from. Serbia, I mean. Supposedly. My YouTube stats disagree with that. Hey, Elite LP, we will all die is a defeatist attitude. I mean, with that attitude, you will. I don't know if he's lying or not. I'm just saying that during the times when he was here all the time, my stats showed Serbia as one of the countries that had 0 views from. Your life makes no sense and you're just waiting to die? I mean, between now and death, would you like to just spend your time waiting? Or because you have a lot of time between now and death, presumably. Maybe very little, maybe a lot, but do you prefer to spend your time waiting? I hate waiting personally. When Jung says that intuition is wrong 60% of the time, his intuition was 100% of the time wrong in using that kind of statistic in that context. What is the meaning of life? Well, to answer the question literally, life is defined as self-directed agency of produced via biological processes, I guess. But if you're asking what's the meaning of being alive in the sense of some grand philosophical sense, I would say I don't know. It's a sort of question that I typically have some sort of complicated answer for, right? But what's the meaning of life? My sort of standard answer to that is it's not a real question. You know, it's like, well, what does that question mean? What is the meaning of life? What would be an acceptable sort of answer? Give me answers of that fit into the category of answers to the question, what is the meaning of life? Even if those answers are not satisfactory, they don't answer the question, what's the meaning of life, adequately. Well, give me some examples of some inadequate answers, even, so I can understand the category of answer that one gives to this question better. The meaning of life is to find out what the meaning of life is. Then wouldn't discovering said meaning render it meaningless? I'm pretty sure it would. That seems self-defeating to me. It's an unconscious function. How do you go about putting numbers to intuitive events then? Well, it's not necessarily unconscious. It's just not willful necessarily. So in other words, knowledge functions, you don't will them to occur. And this is one of, it would be an infinite regression. Is that the correct term? Rather than the self-defeating? Okay. I accept that, Rain. I stand corrected. Yeah. I'm going to have to agree with Winston's mom here, Lee Trimmer. Just stop being so goddamn prickly. Not everything that, not every time we mention fapping, do we have you in mind, or are we talking about you at all, right? You insist on reminding us that you have a position on everything, but we're talking about shit abstractly, you know? The purpose of life is to get blitzed off your ass on the drug or alcohol of your choice as often as possible. Is it bad over here? What do you mean bad? Is it bad over here in what sense? Like, I mean, not. I'm not. Things are good for me. I guess I'm fine. I'm kind of. I've been actually, to be honest. I think I've been a little depressed lately, but depression is not something that I understand very well. Like sadness, or it's not sadness. Depression is not sadness. Depression is a lack of interest in doing things to me. Yeah, I think that's what I mean when I say I'm been feeling depressed. Just kind of like, you know, how's the situation? It's fine. I mean, obviously, it's annoying that we still have a lot of businesses that can't operate normally. A lot of restaurants gone out of business, and it's. I mean, well, that's part of what's depressing to me is that I see stupidity doesn't bother me much when it's not manifest as public policy. Frankly, it's like I get over it quickly. So somebody comes in here and they say some stupid ass shit, and I'm gonna get pissed off in the moment, but I'm over it in a second. But when I see stupidity manifest as public policy on a global scale, it's depressing. It's really depressing because I explained right at the beginning. Look, this isn't how you justify things. When you justify things with appeals to ignorance, you're guaranteed to end up in a pond of clusterfuckery. And well, I mean, the thing is, the mask mandates are one thing. But the lockdowns are another. And the general centralization of decision making here has proved disastrously bad. So, you know, if you're gonna localize decision making, then put the onus where it belongs on the individual. If you're going to centralize it, then centralize it in one location, like the federal government. Don't have various localities make different decisions about it. But regardless, Elite LP, we are going through a very uncomfortable period in our history. We're a divided country playing a bit of team sports, and it's really rather not a game. So yeah, things are difficult. I couldn't agree with Winston's mom more. You're talking politically, the country is as polarized as it's been since the Civil War. And I mean, Biden's not going to make it worse. Biden is not an ideologue. That's the one thing you got to concede to Biden. He may not have good politics. He may be wrong about a lot of things or whatever, but he is not an ideologue. It is roughly spherical. Should you move to America to buy cheaper goods? I don't know. You have to factor in the moving expenses. See if there's a net economic gain there or not. Depending on how far away you are, it's unlikely there will be a net economic gain. Trump was not okay. So Katie says neither was Trump an ideologue. Trump was. That's true, Katie. Trump was not an ideologue. He was the other kind of problem besides an ideologue, which is a word hater. The fuel here is $8 per gallon. That's expensive. That's super expensive. Gas here has been cheap lately. At the peak of the quarantine, it got down as low as $2 a gallon or something. It was really cheap for a while. Now it's back up to $3 something a gallon. Right. I mean, ideologues are word lovers. They're word fetishists, right? But there's another kind of fetishist that's an anti-word fetishist, and that's like ESFPs. So ESFPs won't be ideologues because their ideology will change from day to day, not because they have a good relationship with words. Okay. One day, Monday, X is the most important thing. Tuesday, Y is the most important thing. Wednesday, X is the least important thing. Thursday, Y is the least important thing. And Friday, Z explains why X and Y don't even exist. Sure, I'll get right on that, Elite LP. Would you like it by overseas transport? Airmail? I could transubstantiate a bomber up to you. Would you like that? I'll do that for you. So Elite LP, around here, when you're really, really special, what's the title of this video again? Ore-sama, my esteemed self, will transubstantiate you, this bomb rep, so that you can have a special feeling in your heart. Would you like to have a special feeling in your heart? You're done with overpriced Saudi oil. To be honest, Saudi oil is the same price as any other oil. Assuming the same grade, of course. Because, see, light crude is considered a fungible commodity. Fungible commodity. Yeah. Fungible commodity. Yeah. I've got some fungible commodity. Would you like to buy it from me? Fungible commodity. Thanks, Winston's mom. That's awfully correct insight. Do I own guns? No, I don't have any guns myself, but there is a gun in the home that I live. I'm here living with my elderly father and my girlfriend Rachel, and my dad has a firearm, but it's a 22 bolt action rifle, so it's got about as little killing power as a firearm can have, but additionally, it only shoots one bullet at a time, and you have to put another bullet in. I've only shot it like one time, or a couple of times maybe. Eric, how do you realistically tell the difference between SE heavy ENFP like Robin Williams and an NE heavy ESFP? Well, I mean, the SE heavy ENFP is going to be good sometimes. Like you look at Robin Williams, Russell Brand, they're both good sometimes. They're funny sometimes. They're clever. And then they're also both appallingly meh at sometimes. So, whereas the ESFP is never going to be good at anything or intellectual. Like they're never going to be good at any kind of intellectualizing of any sort. So here's a good example of an excellent ESFP artist. But there are excellent ESFP artists. But note when I'm trying to make a specific point about how they express themselves, okay? Young, unique Dominique, or that rapper girl, she's a good ESFP artist. I have no idea. I don't know anything about guns, Elite LP. Okay, so listen to what I'm saying. There are great ESFP artists, but it's important to note the difference between how greatness manifests in an ESFP and how it manifests in an ENFP, because both can have their great moments, right? So Russell Brand and Robin Williams both have great moments, and so does young, unique Dominique. But I will read the young, unique Dominique and show my ass lyrics. So Show My Ass is a spectacular song. It just moves so much. Niggas on me because I'm fresh. Apple bottom jeans with the bathing hat pet. Keep hating niggas on me because I'm fresh. Apple bottom jeans with the bathing ape hat. Keep hating you come last. I'm a finna show my ass and get your boys to count my cash. Niggas on me because I'm fresh. Baby fat heels on, girl pictured that. Cost me about $250. Hold that. All that flodgin. Buy that. Too real, so gutta to the game. Keep them hating love, them hating cause they see my name. CK gave me strength cause I love my fame. I ain't trying to get attention cause I rap my pain. Thinking I ain't strapped bit with the goons, get ya shit stained. Coming hard to the game, everything gonna change. Lil Dominique stacking decks, do my thing. I'm gonna switch my style, that's the way it's going down. I'm gonna come so hard to the beat, got a team. We can't defeat, make a move, that's my dream. I'm stepping out the building so fresh, so clean. I'm gonna pop my collar, let them know I'm on the scene. Now, the thing is, this song's fantastic. It's a fantastic track. She kills it, right? And there are zero ideas because she's if you have, I'll find a link to the song. If you haven't heard the song, it's just it's so slamming. And also, "Fuck That Shit" by her is also great. So don't mistake me as saying it's not possible for ESFPs to be good artists. It's just not possible for ESFPs to be good artists and because of what they say or mean. Have you ever had your mental stability looked into? I mean, I've never really had anybody accuse me of being mentally unstable before. I'm not indicative of, it's like, it's a difficult claim to sustain against me. Who wrote it for her? Nobody wrote it for her. She wrote it herself. That's why it has no ideas in it. I'm talking about Dominique Young Unique. She's a good ESFP artist. She treats rapping as almost purely a rhythmic element in the song rather than a lyrical thing. As long as the lyrics are saying stuff that's hard, then they're good enough for her. You know. Is weed legal in Colorado? Yes. Apparently it's the cheapest place in the country to get it. Although, I saw this thing said, weed is so cheap you can get an ounce of weed in Colorado for $80. Well, you can get an ounce of weed in California for $80 too. It's just shitty weed, So, I don't know. When I went to Colorado and bought weed there, I did not find it cheaper than California at all. So, of course, it depends. It depends on which store you go to and stuff. A lot in California, probably in Colorado too. Are you not being direct? For an ounce, you can get an ounce of weed for $20. It must be incredibly shitty weed. I mean, for an ounce? I don't think so, Elite LP. That's nowhere in the world. You can get an ounce of weed for $5 in Germany. Are you sure you're not talking about a gram? Okay, well, I mean, I just don't believe that. You must be wrong. How could we be that cheap in Germany? You'd have, it's like we would be pouring out of Germany at an incredible rate. Yeah, exactly. It's like the export market of weed from Germany would be insane. Well, I mean, there are no police controls basically here either. But well, I go to the gray market store where you don't have to pay any taxes here either. The taxes, I agree, make weed expensive. But even when I go to the gray market stores where they're not official, still for the best weed, you're going to pay at least $200 an ounce for the very best stuff. Minimum. And it's probably not going to be that great for $200 an ounce. Well, the thing is, in California, there are there are white market stores and there are gray market stores. So the white market stores are more expensive and they follow all the rules. You can always tell the difference between a white market store and a gray market store, because the way the gray market stores do it is the way they used to do it in the pre-recreational days. Back before the days of recreational weed being legalized, all the weed shops had big jars of weed, and you could smell it or look at it up close. Before you can say, "Can I look at and smell the whatever OG, the Jack Herrera, the whatever," and then they'd open the jar and you'd smell it, right? But in California now, if you want to be a legal store, a white market store, then you can't do that. You have to have everything in sealed containers already. So it's like they don't weigh out your weed for you at the white market stores. You say, "I'd like to get product 72," and they take a jar out that some company made and put it in a bag, and there you go. In fact, in Oakland, there's a store where you don't even have to go through a bud tender. They just have all their products on the floor, and you just walk around, look for them, and you just get what you want. You put it in your basket, and you go up to the top. You go up to the front and pay for it, Oh, well, I don't know. That's what I call them, because they're not really black market. Black market would be like how I used to buy weed way back, where you call your guy, "Bro, you holding?" "Yeah, I got something." How much is it?" "It was pretty good stuff. This stuff's like 40 an eighth, bro." 40 an eighth? It's really good. All right. Let me get a quarter. The red market is the same as the white market, except drenched in blood. Nine. I got 3 words for you, Germans. Das ist verboten. Okay? Better knock that shit off, whatever it is you're doing. Yeah, it's an essential service. Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. That's what's depressing. So it's like Cameron's Seafood Restaurant, which is a Pasadena institution from a long time ago. It's been there forever. They recently announced they're shutting down. Another, local favorite restaurant, family-owned restaurant, I remember seeing recently. Making an appeal, like a GoFundMe page, so they can stay in business while they're still waiting for, the state to say, yes, you can open up restaurants again. Meanwhile, while you can't eat at a restaurant, When I was at Ulta the other day with Rachel, it's the most crowded store I've been uh, in a while. It was jam packed in there. Ladies buying their makeups and stuff, you know. My daughter used to work at Ulta. It's a makeup store. And Rachel likes to go there and get makeups. So I said, well, okay, look, because it's across the parking lot from PetSmart. I'll go get the fish food and the cat food. When I'm done, I'll go back to the car. When you're done, go back to the car. If you're not at the car yet, when I get back to the car, then I'll just go over to Ulta. When I went to Ulta, she was at the back of this incredibly long line. It was crazy how long it was. This is like a poker table. Only English spoken at the poker table, please. You know, you can speak German to each other. I don't care. Can I sing the German anthem? Oh, Germany. Oh, German, Germany. Oh, Germany. Oh, German, Germany. We are Germany, and we speak German, yeah. This is a bratwurst and sauerkraut as well. Is that how it goes? I think that's it. I think that's the German national anthem. I'm pretty sure. Right. If you get a haircut, you're going to jail, bud. However, weed and alcohol and cigarettes are all essential. The liquor store can stay open, no problem. The weed store can stay open, sure. The makeup store can be jam-packed full of ladies buying essential makeup products, but a restaurant can't be open. And the basic reasoning, as far as I can tell, that underlies this is that you can't eat with a mask on. It was nice of them to write it in English. I agree. That way it's easy for me to learn, you know. I think the German national anthem is da di da do ba ba. Der Kommissare do 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 ba ba. If you ask me, that should be the German national anthem. The guy who accomplished being cool at its absolute pinnacle moment, greater than any person in history, was German. And his name was Falco. And he accomplished this moment of pure, utter, absolute pinnacle coolness in this video of Der Kommissar right here. This guy is the single coolest guy on the planet at the moment he's making this video. Now, you can't sustain that for very long, obviously. You know, you cannot sustain that moment for very long. But in that video right there, at that moment in history, the single coolest man on the planet was Falco. And the thing is, you watch that video today, still, you think to yourself, wow, this guy is so cool. He's hilarious and edgy and awesome and handsome and you know, full of himself and self-effacing and talking about drugs, and he's just killing it. And it's the fucking catchiest, awesomest little song you've ever fucking heard. Der Kommissar, you know? In fact, I got to mute so I can listen to Der Kommissar for a second. Amazing. Amazing. You've got to listen to Derek Komisar if you haven't listened to it in a while. It's amazing. Da dee dee dum pa pum pa. Cha cha de Komisar dum pum pum pa. It's fantastic. The whatever it is in the background, kind of like pad sound, but it's like strings, kind of a pad string sounds that goes. It's just, whew. Oh my God. Talk about everything coming together into one thing in one moment. It's just like, wow, that's it makes my heart ache because it reminds me of being 22 and being cool and understanding that you're right on the cutting edge of something, you know? It's like I never really felt it for good reasons, but that kind of feeling you have when you're in your 20s and you're going to go out partying and maybe you got some Coke or something, you know, and you're doing some rails of Coke on the kitchen counter before you go out. And you get in the car and you start pumping some tunes and just like, I am young and awesome and the world is mine. It makes my heart ache because it reminds me of how beautiful and foolish that moment in life is, you know? I'm what you Germans call an Ehrenmann. What's an Ehrenmann? No, 99 Nuff balloons is not as good as Der Kommissar. Der Kommissar should be the German national anthem. Just like Dancing Queen should be the Swedish national anthem. Okay, I'll Google it. I like the first comment on Der Kommissar's video too. It says like Tupac, I'm the best rapper. Falco, hold my apple strudel. Honor Man. Oh, that's nice to call me that. Thank you. Oh. No, Elite LP said it and at 7:57 a.m. My stomach is making a lot of gurgling noises. So yeah, as far as Sweden goes, ABBA is their great triumph. I'm not really hungry. My stomach's gurgling a lot, meaning like I'm digesting stuff, I guess. I had a big dinner last night, and I normally don't eat breakfast. I just have coffee and stuff. So I'm actually not, I'm unusually not under SI. I've got a Coke here. Well, a little bit left Coke. Of course, you know, the thing is, Falco's awesome coolness cost him a happy life. So, you know, he had a cocaine problem, he had an alcohol problem, and he also had a womanizing problem. So, he didn't treat women very well, as far as I can tell from a documentary I saw. If you're talking about that movie, it's a German film. It's about Falco. It's like a biopic. I've seen about 45 minutes of it, and it got too depressing. I had to turn it off. I had a I had a little brief phase where I heavily researched Falco because it's like, I don't know. Whenever I posted that link in the community tab was when I discovered that Dirk Homosar video on YouTube. And I was just like, oh my God, I'm not worthy. This thing is so epic. And of course, it's like when I posted the link, I think it was Running Fox put a comment like, when you spend your music video budget mostly on cocaine, in which Bundesland do you live? Are those like states, Bundeslands? I guess I could Google it. Tell me to Google it again. Learn German by Googling shit. The thing to remember also, Elite LP, is that one of my, it's a state. The Federal Republic of Germany, as a federal state, consists of 16 partly sovereign federated states, commonly and informally Bundeslands. Bundeslands. I live in a Bundesland. How many Bundeslands are there? There are 16 Bundeslands. One of my alter egos is, in fact, German. His name's the International Delight. You mad, bro? Strauss 2024. Okay? I'm not going to have any not Strauss 2024 things around here. So, my name is the International Delight, and I go around and solve problems throughout the world. I'm very international. I've lived everywhere. I've lived in Bavaria. I've lived in Austria. I've lived in Bonn. I've lived in Stuttgart. I'm friends with Pocket Tart Lemon Squeeze. And we went to Singapore and we made their drinks less sweet. And they were complaining. They said, our drinks are too sweet. And Pocket Tart Lemon Squeeze and we traveled from Bonn to Stuttgart, from Stuttgart to Berlin, from Berlin to Innsbruck in Austria. And then we traveled to Singapore to fix their drinks. Afterwards, we saw Kraftwerk. We did ecstasy and saw Kraftwerk. We danced all night at the discotheque. Thanks, Levi Samuels. I appreciate it. Every American spells BMW wrong. How do you spell BMW wrong? Is it BMV for Verks? Bavarian Motorworks. Yeah. Supervising shift manager of Bavarian Motorworks. And we like to drive our Motorworks on the Autobahn. Well, this particular alter ego, the International Delight, is pretty well developed, actually. There's the very first episode of Talking with Famous People included the International Delight and Pocket Tart Lemon Squeeze, and in fact, it's not Bavarian. It's for Bayreichy. So yeah, in the very first episode of Talking with Famous People, I interview the International Delight and Pocket Tart Lemon Squeeze about their impending trip to go to Singapore to solve the problem that Singapore has expressed that their drinks are too sweet. I think in a later episode, it is revealed that they solved the problem Can you marry your brother in Alabama? um, is that a need you're looking to have fulfilled? Would you like me to research places where you can marry your brother? As far as I know, I don't think you can legally. But yeah, that's one of those like stereotypes that's basically ridiculous. That like it has no basis in reality. That people from the South like to have sex with their relatives. It's not true. Yeah, that's not true. That's just like I like that question because it begs. Okay, well, it elicits the question: which is more important in Alabama, the incest or the homophobia? Well, gosh, I mean, I don't want to encourage homosexuality, but also family's family. Only first cousins allowed. I know a lady who slept with her first cousin. I slept with a lady who slept with her first cousin, but not together. We wasn't all at the same time. What's homophobism? It's when you don't like homosexuals. It's I mean it's another unnecessary distinction of an instance of groupism. It's the same thing as being racist or misogynistic or hating all librarians or whatever other stupid groupist shit there is. It's the same thing. It's just another groupist nonsense. No. It's just groupist nonsense. It's where you think your opinions about someone else's identity are more important than their opinions about their identity on subjective matters, and that's just not acceptable. So I'm so egalitarian that it's almost toxic. No, it's not. It's not remotely toxic. You're allowed to marry your car in Germany? I do not want to marry my car. Can my car get spousal support from me if I divorce it? Dave Rubin, I don't know who that is. Rob Halford. Is that the guy, that horribly not funny guy who's in some movies with who's in some okay movies, but I'm thinking of Rob Schneider. He's not funny at all. He's uncomfortably not funny. The lead singer of Judas Priest is Rob Halford. Now there's somebody who assuredly, in retrospect, must have been a homosexual. But as a kid, when I was a kid, and Judas Priest was one of the bands that I listened to and stuff, we didn't know that all that leather and stuff was super gay. I mean, I don't remember really ever thinking like that's tough or anything either. Just sort of like, oh, I guess they're tough. You know, that must be why they're dressed like that. But now looking back at it, I think, well, they must be homosexuals. And but there was a lot of stuff like that. Like, for example, I had no idea George Michael was gay. No idea until it became a public story. Him? Gay? It was a different time, you know, back in the day. Like there were these various bands. Like it wasn't just Boy George, but Boy George is representative of kind of a style at the time that I don't think anybody understood, or I didn't understand, was gay. It wasn't talked about as being gay. And if like there was a music video with like a song where like say Boy George is a romantic song or something, they'd have a female in it, you know? There's no way they'd have another male in it. Did Rock Hudson surprise you, Winston's mom? Are you old enough to remember Rock Hudson's performing days? Probably not. But I remember when I was a kid, Rock Hudson is one of the first people I remember hearing about them being gay, and it was in the context of him getting AIDS, I think. Is he gay, Ricky Martin? I guess that makes sense. He is living La Vida Loca. Look, the point, Raphael, is, or whoever is opposing to the diamond, whoever is opposing to the idea of calling it homophobia, I agree in general that it's stupid to have these special names for examples of groupism, because it mistakenly makes people think that some kinds of groupism are more important than other kinds of groupism. All groupism is equally bad. So, no, what I'm saying, Raphael, is I agree that the word is a poor choice of word. But the reason it's a poor choice of word is not because people aren't groupists against homosexuals. Plenty of people are. But because it tries to make groupism against homosexuals special in some way, when it's not. It's just the same stupidity as every other form of groupism. Everyone knew Liberace was not exactly marriage material. Well, see, that's the funny thing. Winston's mom is like in that movie Liberace. Did you see the movie with Kirk Douglas in it? I believe it's Kirk Douglas, and who played Liberace, and Matt Damon was his homosexual boyfriend. And at the very beginning of it, they're at the Liberace show. Oh, is Michael Douglas? Is Kirk Douglas his father or his son? Or his brother? Kirk Douglas was in Romancing the Stone, the movie that played longer at my local movie theater here in Arcadia than any other movie that had ever played there. For a lot of years, we had this marquee that was on the street. Oh, that was Michael Douglas too in Romancing the Stone? Okay, so cool. Anyway, we had this marquee over here on Baldwin Avenue, and it would say what movies were playing at the mall. And Romancing the Stone stayed on that marquee for like 3 years or something. That movie was at that movie theater forever. And I'd never seen any other movie stay in the movie theater anytime, anywhere nearly that long. So, even though Romancing the Stone, which I recently rewatched, is a fairly forgettable, kind of fun movie, it has always stuck in my mind, like way larger in my mind about movies than it would otherwise have, except for the fact that it was on the marquee for such a long time. Who doesn't? What are you saying here, Raphael? What kind of nonsense are you saying? Who said anyone's afraid of gays because gays force you to accept them? Nobody is saying that. Who is saying that? What doesn't exist? Homosexuality? It's just right and wrong, is what you say. Is what who says? Me? I'm not saying homosexuality doesn't exist. I'm saying homophobia is a bad word to use to describe groupism against homosexuals. Just as misogyny is a bad word to use to describe groupism against women, and racism is a bad word to use to describe groupism against races, because they empower the wrong thing, right? So what are you saying doesn't exist? You need entertainment, please? All right, I'll play you a song on the guitar. No, not that. Oh, I'm sorry, Raphael. I once again assumed that somebody's comment towards somebody else was directed toward me. Shame on me. Shame on me and my failure. If you don't like gays, then you assume you don't like somebody that you've never met. If you don't like homosexuality, you're assuming something you've never done is bad for no reason. If you don't like chicks, that's a problem too. If you convert a race on to me, then I'll say you are wrong. If you say that I must be like Mia, 'cause I'm a member of Mia group, I'll just have to tell you you're wrong. Okay? Individualism is the answer. Treat individuals as individuals. When you are obsessed with what the qualities or statuses or attributes or whatever of their group is, then you are barking up the wrong tree. If you are concerned about group Mia, you are part of the problem, right? It's like we need to deal with individuals as individuals. So why go with homophobism? I'm not advocating in favor of homophobism. I'm advocating against homophobism. It's a non-individual word. Can Jews be Nazis? Good question. I guess they could be. I mean, isn't that kind of what Attack on Titan's all about? That's what Attack on Titan's all about. What if the Nazis had a branch of their own military that was comprised of Jewish people who had the ability to turn into giants? I agree, Lee Trimmer, that was, you are correct. That stands out. I agree. And you know what? It's appropriate that you honk your own horn about that in this particular video, which is titled Ore Sama, My Esteemed Self. And this stream is technically and officially about the fact that when one makes claims about real things that are significant claims and potentially deserving of strong response, one way or the other, some sort of strong attention, they get roundly ignored if they are, or they receive no comment if they are well reasoned. My strongest TI supported videos get no comments because nobody who can understand them has anything to dispute, and the people who don't understand it don't watch it. But if I say anything about myself that's self-aggrandizing, any kind of FE mistake like that, I will incur a shit ton of critique from people. And so I want to take this opportunity to commend Leaf Trimmer for his self-praise, as it was appropriate in that instance, since I had not taken the time to note it myself. A girl sending me nudes. What do I have to do? Well, you should send her a text back saying, "Dear Darla, thank you for the naked pictures of yourself. I appreciate the gesture." That'd probably be adequate. A girl is naked with her legs open. What do I do? Close your browser window. You shouldn't be fapping, Leaf Trimmer. Everybody knows that. Bad for you. Turns you into a crocodile. You don't want to be a crocodile, do you? This is one of the things people don't realize. Masturbation turns one into a crocodile. I was surprised when I learned this as well. It's like, that's where crocodiles come from? Yep, that's where crocodiles come from. Shocking, I know. Crazy, huh? Who would have thought that's where crocodiles come from? What's the matter with Chad? Is he terribly bad? Is he very like Dan, who's a terrible man? Is he sort of like Jill, who can't pay her bill? Or rather like Jack, too stuck on the facts? What's the matter with Sue? Does she know what to do if they bring attitude? Will she show ingenuity? It talks about you whenever we go walking. What's the matter with Bren? She's been living in sin. She's been hanging with Jim. He's looking terribly thin. What's the deal with Frank? Stealing fish from my tank. He's colluding with you, and they're talking to Lou. What's wrong with the ladies? What's the matter with men? When the feeling's crazy to the coldness of Sven. They talk about you whenever we go walking. Paths that lead to lesser days, paths that lead to lesser days. The spell at the overwatered past, and whoever's left, that's still okay. Just tie the sails to the mast. Are you angry yet. Ken or Neville again, don't bother with Kev, he's practically dead. Just focus on Bert, he's medium hurt. What's the quandary for Liz? Did she fail a quiz? What's the matter with Drew? Will she know what to do if they bring attitude? Will she show ingenuity? She talks about you whenever we go walking, as it lead to lesser days. Spill at the overwatered past, and whoever's left that's still okay. Just tie the sails to the mast, 'cause each of us have much and gravely sinned. Throw up the hands, stiffen the chin. Catastrophe looms heavy overhead again. Time's gone will never be again, 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 again. Oh, he came here with her, and what's the big problem that you can't endure? It seems so sure you're not appropriate claiming to blame things on Scott, despite getting caught. He got you reframing for him, straining for him, going to the gym to make yourself good enough again. Yeah, you guys both have lots invested. That's not a reason to stay around. Through the years, you've both been tested. Time to move up, find higher ground. Oh, he came here with her, and what's the big problem that you can't endure? You seem so sure it's not appropriate claiming to blame things on Scott, despite getting caught. He's got you reframing for him, straining for him, going to the gym to make yourself good enough again. Be done with him. That's a hard song for me to play. I struggle with that every time I play it, usually. Most of the times I play it. I'll play my newest song now. A song of cheer, a song of wonder, an opportunity to love one another, to learn to live, to laugh, to love, to pray, to eat, to justify our own bad behavior with bullshit. These are the ways of mankind. Just brooding here won't do any good, but brooding's more and more my style. I seek the cheery ways of standing where we stood, 'cause I've been stuck here a while. That's despite a natural selfishness that makes it easy to have fun, but flutters in the gut become a fist as all my visions go undone. I tried to keep distracting, dream the afternoon away, but out of it. No reason still unsaid. Still I keep expectorate what's inside my head. It seems like everybody's so sensitive, so ready to just get mad. I seek the simple ways of living like a kid, 'cause who wants to be the dad? Have we lost our sense of scope and scale? Our capacity to laugh? The sense to know and not to wail? And how to slip the golden cat? I tried to strip, distract, and dream the afternoon away, but heavy new realities bear down on every day, and for a bit I am out of it. For reasons still unsaid, still I need expectorate words inside my head. And so I'm sad, so sad for me, sad for her, happily, and what you call sorrow, I call home. Blues that sing her down to the bone. I'm sad, so sad for me, sad for her, happily, and what you call sorrow, I call home. Blues that sing her down to the bone. I like that song. You know, I really do like that song. I like to play it. It's comfortable to play. Pretty comfortable. Like, Jesus People it's difficult because it's either it's at the top of my range or at the bottom of my range, one of the two, you know. But I like the song a lot, but it's a challenge to sing. Not so much of a challenge to play, but it's a challenge to sing. I'm gonna try it anyway. This is my new thing these days, is I end these streams with playing most of this set. I'm gonna get it down. Rachel and I are gonna play live together when that's possible again, and she'll be participating in these set practices too when she's around. Right now she's sleeping, so. If Jesus was people but absent of sin, he must then have struggled with regular men and women, of course, when they too were present. Disciples all warily eyeing the lesson. If people were Jesus, they'd know as they think, and everyone's work would be true. And feelings once spoken would sink where they sink, and they all know just what to do. People are Jesus once they're betrayed. Easy believing forever is lost. Maybe naivete is not to be saved, but the wise pay a terrible cost. Does virtue require a rational take? Or virtue that's reasoned invariably fake? Does musing itself just distract from the flow? Or is care best served by deliberate and slow? People aren't Jesus once they're betrayed. Easy believing forever is lost. Maybe naivete is not to be saved, but the wise pay a terrible cost. The one you thought you knew acts like you never have met. The life you made for two has faded into regret. There's no one unshaken, we all have been shook, but being forsaken don't mean you're forsook. And when in the past we've been hung out to dry, we'll find them at last if we're willing to try. But people aren't Jesus once they're betrayed. The easy believing forever is lost. Maybe naivete is not to be saved, but the wise pay a terrible cost. Maybe naivete is not to be saved, but the wise pay a terrible cost. Challenging song to sing. It'd be great if Rachel could sing the main vocals on that. That'd be helpful. Too much noise in the bloodstream. Loud enough to disrupt everybody's dream. Frustrations mistakes are made until it seems everybody's just throwing shade. I won't be just another casualty of other people's well-intentioned rules. I used to think that some tomorrow that time did yesterday is not the sort of thing that one can borrow. No one can give you Linda Day. Your uncertainty's implicit, just like an unexpected visit from a bunch of men all dressed in blue suits. I won't be just another casualty of other people's well-intentioned rules. I used to think that some tomorrow might be time for yesterday. Still trying to figure out how to play that song, or how exactly I want to play it. It started off as a sort of a chunk song. It's hard to maintain that through the whole thing for me. And also, need some variation in the guitar approach anyway. From the east are blowing, driving down this mountain fire. Grand Atlanta had best be going, they cut it down to the wire. Everywhere apocalypse hung heavy, and the truck was piled with ash. Atlanta got the dogs in the Chevy, and Greg counted out their petty cash. If times are ending, then time is bending, as flames rain down from the sky. While the dogs knock out with plant exhaust, Atlanta stays awake to cry. 120 out with Labor Day, and that means cooking meat outdoors. Guy got distracted and fire got away. From Bradford to Arcadia, they curse his name. fire chased them west and down the incline until they reached the foothills below. Found a room cheap for the night online. At least now they had someplace to go. Tomorrow they'd evaluate their options now that their life had burned away. Lana's sister has a place in Laughlin. Guess there really isn't more to say. When times are ending, when time is bending, flames rain down from the sky. Oh, while the dog's knocked out, Grant exhausted, Lana stays awake to cry. Oh, while the dog's knocked out, Grant exhausted, Lana stays awake to cry. It's not a bad song either. Pretty good. I think I'd probably keep the first one and get rid of the second one of those. Okay. Here's the next song on the set list. Sammy has a story that need be told. This is a song for an open road, and such a thing must always do its job. She married up Jeff, turned 19, 4 years in, 3 kids, weary now and questioning the past. Agency out, faces discretion, locking in our courses, way too young. The urgency conferred is really just aggression, making sure those underneath them always run. Doug at 20 thought bourbon fun, and likewise Doug at 21, and so forth well up into middle age. But once that seemed to set him free became his whole identity. Now Doug's about another drunken rage. Agency out, faces discretion, locking in our courses, way too young. The urgency conferred is really just oppression. They'll offer you incentives, but they haven't got a thing that's fun. Everybody's panicked about the kids. Lock them up with extra Dexedrine. Mathematics to produce success, or impose more unjust duress. Agency out, misses discretion, locking in our courses, way too young. The urgency conferred is really just oppression. They'll offer you incentives, but they haven't got a thing that's fun. Without consent, it's really just oppression. By parasites surviving on their wages earned by lying. Will they feed their fear of dying? Yeah, let's feed upon the futures of the young. Play that okay, I guess. $30,000 days, too many expectations, not even worth a damn. 30,000 nights, sleep off the intoxication, otherwise you won't escape the plan. I wasted half my days trying another's ways. Who can tell me my priorities? Is there anybody who knows the key? 'Cause I'm tired of doing it wrong. Want direction and have all along. Wait until I know. Or is that just hesitation? Clarity's no good once your chance is gone. What I need to show is it's so below my station. Tired of doing it wrong. I've wasted half my days trying another's ways. Who can tell me my priorities? Is there anybody who knows the key? 'cause I think I'm doing this wrong. Yes, I think I'm doing this wrong. Doing this wrong. If you don't like this, you're bored by it, well, I understand. I live streamed for a while. Now I'm going to practice the set, basically. So, I appreciate your either understanding and leaving or understanding and staying. When I was younger, it seemed that everything gleamed. I don't know what happened to me, but I've lost that sense of urgency, and I don't think that I'll ever see it again. If you follow my lead, you'll discover I'm loster than you. And you'll want to know the way to get back out to wherever it was you thought you knew. And tomorrow will be just like today. I'll be lost then too. It's a matter of mood as much as a matter of will. And the things I do and the direction I point to still seem a part of me, though departed we. And I wonder if I'll ever see them again. Bum-ba-da-da, ba-da-ba-da-da, da-da-da-da, that's a nice song to play. I like that song. I'm able to close my eyes and play that song. I like songs I can close my eyes and play. Gerald has a thought. Gerald has a lot. Gerald has a plot to get to Marjorie's daily tots. She's got a good idea for a name changing business, and now what to call Christmas when they hire his firm to change that name. But Gerald always thought that there'd be chancing up to return to the work left rough. He'd get back to it eventually, and his visions piled up, but his plans would interrupt all the work that started off so hopefully. And now his mind's back on the business, thinking change came factless to listless. So how all the people push out his name. And Gerald knows he understands ever more clearly now. He won't provide explanation regarding the why or the how. He'll see you and know you from inside your heart. Exciting, delighting, Gerald plays his part. And Gerald still knew there's too much to do, and he had dropped time in the underview. Too much to rebut, where now and what? Too much time spent at picking the skew. With you, Gerald has a thought. Gerald has a lot. Gerald has a plot. The Marjorie's tasting spots. He's got a good idea for a name change business. Thinking now about what he'll call Christmas when they hire his firm to change that name. Gerald has a thought. Not a T-H-O-T, a T-H-O-U-G-H-T. I don't feel like playing Satchel of Helpful Goods. Amelia, go from that place, take unto you the details of your case. Amelia, when you rise above, floating ahead and soaring like a dove, what will they say when they look at you, then moving sideways in the space you're in? And sidelong with your thirsty grin. Amelia, can't you see? You and I will never be. Amelia, yet you're still free. There's too much opportunity to leave out in the rain. Amelia, we're watching you fail for sure. No matter what we do. Amelia, when you rise above, floating ahead and floating like a dove, what will they say when they look at you, then moving sideways into space you're in? And sidelong with your thirsty grin. Amelia, can't you see? You and I will never be. Amelia, yet you're still free. With too much opportunity to leave out in the too much opportunity to leave out in too much opportunity to leave out in the rain. Amelia. You're living on a time frame I will never know. Alienation and humanity's soul. Imagine you a future after the collapse, returning to the urgency of isolated past. You're picturing community free of metaphysics while you're hunting buffalo and picking red delicious. Your knowledge of the seasons, wisdoms of old. Fires blazing in the night to keep away the cold. Hostility is kept at bay. Well, what you think is in the way of life as children of the land with an agave reverend. Imagining a history that never could have been. You lecture at the college, advancement is a sin. You're lamenting disconnection in every corporate act, asserting all your feelings and ignoring all the facts. Hostility is kept at bay while what you think is in the way of life as children of the land with an agave weatherman. You find modernity just so banal. Wish you had been born any time but now, and your experience won't run afoul of exceptions you might allow. You visualize nobility sipping on some port, or tribes of peaceful savages in beautiful comport. But few of history's people ever thusly did cavort, 'cause life was solitary, nasty, brutish, poor, and short. Hostility is kept at bay by what you think is in the way of life as children of the land with an agave weatherman. With an agave weatherman. couple more songs left. That's all. And I'll be done. For those of you enduring painfully, you come outside, your arms are folded. I'm getting scolded for playing again. I won't be much as I can in terms of the man you want me to be. But I gotta do what I gotta do. I'll include you in everything that I can. 'Cause I'm your man and you're my girl. I mean my woman in the world. You are the one I will be with till my dying day. Your belief, you want my attention, but I got invention going again. And I wanna be as much as I can in terms of the man you want me to be. But Kimberly, please don't be mad at me, 'cause I made this song, 'cause I'm your man and you're my girl. I mean my woman in the world. You are the one I will be with till my dying day. 'Cause I'm your man and you're my girl. I mean my woman in the world. You are the one I will be with till my dying day. It's fun. It's fun being fun. Sad being sad. It's good being good and bad being bad. It's glad when you're shad and rad when you're chad, but sad when you're mad or bad or unglad. That's what I always say anyway. I always constantly say that. No good comes from skating on with them whom you'd be taken for the one. Habituated defense and indecency, self-inflicted eventually once your search is done. Driving in the car last night, we had a massive fight. Each insisting we were right and the other one to blame. So when you put that stunt, I screamed something awfully blunt. My words as wrong as they were dumb, I'll burn my share of shame. It's each of our own failings, not us doing the nailing to the wall. We fear so the others sailing off to reset their life and all. You can trust me, I can trust you, though neither trust yourselves much true. The love lays deep between you and me, at least about that we can both agree. Driving in a car last night, we had a massive fight. Each insisting we were right and the other one to blame. So when you pulled that stunt, I screamed you're a worthless cunt. My words as strong as they were wrong. I earned my share of shame. My share of shame. Okay, one more song. That's it. One more original song I'm going to play from this set list. We need to know. We need the pen. We need the pen. A larger project of life we devisively unlike and from which we'll rarely budge. People everywhere gather up, enemies outraged at town. They miss a sign. How do they set their priorities? These foreign backstabbing entities into anarchic and misery, follow necessarily from their savage ways. Insulting, cursing, and Desiree, we're stuck in such petty larceny. We all partition the rectories and call it destruction of the whole damn world. Judy shares now her limits, hoping Julie will too. Jerry shares for 4 minutes. He just can't share things like they do. Julie soon forgot about it and all, and he had the chance to buy. Julie soon forgot about should and not, although she ever call, she'll die. People everywhere gather up, enemies outraged at town. They miss a sign. How do they set their priorities? These foreign backstabbing entities into anarchic misery, follow necessarily from their savage ways. Insulting, cursing, and Desiree, we're stuck in such petty larceny. We all partition directories and call it destruction of the whole damn world. Boom. Well, I don't normally play it like that at all, but I played it like that at this time because being ENTP, I can't stop fucking around constantly. Pretty frustrating. I am going to play one more song that's not an original. It's my favorite cover. My favorite cover because of the irony. Irony being that I'm fluidly transracial. I find there to be incredible irony in the fact that of all songs I've ever encountered, this one seems most natural for me to play. It's weird. It fits so precisely into my stylistic, and it is like my wheelhouse, you know? Some folk call me a rambling man. I do a lot of thumbing and a kicking cans, and I'm putting to an ounce of good and call me names. Cause daddy's name wasn't Willie Woodrow, and I wasn't born and raised in no ghetto, just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. I'm fine. Let's see if we scroll down. Let me start it over. Some folk call me a rambling man, cause I do a lot of thumbing and a kicking cans, but it wouldn't do an ounce of good to call me names. Cause daddy's name wasn't Willie Woodrow, I wasn't born and raised in no ghetto, just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. Well, I'm about to find me a wealthy woman in a line of work that don't take no diploma, cause I ain't got much to lose but lost to gain. Some might call me a good time fella. I ain't no black and I ain't no yellow. That's why I'm looking for a place to do my thing. Yeah, I don't want no handout living, don't want any part of anything they're giving. I'm proud of mine, I got a song to sing. Well, I said a few things and I'll admit it. If you want to get ahead, you gotta hurry up and get it. I'm a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. From the top. Some folk call me a rambling man, cause I do a lot of thumbing and the kicking can, and it wouldn't do an ounce of good to call me names. Daddy's name wasn't Willie Woodrow, I wasn't born and raised in no ghetto, just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. I'm about to find me a wealthy woman in a line of work, don't take no diploma, I ain't got much to lose but lost the game. Some might call me a good time fella, cause I ain't no black and I ain't no yellow, just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. got a song to sing. Well, I said a few things and I'll admit it. If you want to get ahead, you gotta hum and get it. I'm a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. Yeah, I'm a small town boy, been around a little, and I like guitars and I like the fiddle, and that's the kind of song it takes to fan my flame. I'm a blue-eyed Billy, kind of feared and ready, and I have to work to be somebody. I'm a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. Yeah, I don't want no handout living, don't want any part of anything they're giving. I'm proud of mine, I've got a song to sing. Well, I said a few things and I'll admit it. If you want to get ahead, you gotta hum and get it. I'm a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. I really want to nail this thing though. It's like I'm not quite nailing it all the way. Here we go. Let's try to nail it perfectly all the way from the start. Some folk call me a rambling man, cause I do a lot of thumbing and a kicking cans, and it wouldn't do an ounce good to call me names. Cause that name wasn't Willie Woodrow. I wasn't born and raised in no ghetto, just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. I'm out to find me a wealthy woman in a line of work that don't take no diploma. I ain't got much to lose, but lots of the game. Well, some might call me a good time fella, cause I ain't no black and I ain't no yellow. I'm a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. Yeah, I don't want no handout living, don't want any part of anything they're giving, cause I'm proud and white and I've got a song to sing. Well, I said a few things and I'll admit it. If you want to get ahead, you gotta hum and get it. I'm a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. I'm a small town boy, been around a little, and I like guitars and I like the fiddle, and that's the kind so it takes to fan my flame. I'm a blue-eyed Billy, kind of feared and ready, so I'll have to work to be somebody. I'm a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. Yeah, I don't want no handout living, don't want any part of anything they're giving. I'm proud and white and I've got a song to sing. Well, I said a few things and I'll admit it. If you want to get ahead, you gotta hum and get it. I'm a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. I don't want no handout living, don't want any part of anything they're giving, cause I'm proud of mine and I've got a song to sing. And I said a few things and I'll admit it, but I want to get ahead, you gotta hum and get it. I'm a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. Yeah, I don't want no handout living, don't want any part of anything they're giving, cause I'm proud of mine and I've got a song to sing. Well, I said a few things and I'll admit it. If you want to get ahead, you gotta hum and get it. I'm a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. White boy looking for a place to do my thing. Just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. It's so fun to play. Oh my God, that song is fun to play. I just can't stop playing it because it just fucking pops along so beautifully, you know? It's like, what a fantastic song. And of course, it's also totally racist, you know? the part, I don't want no handout living. So what are you saying, Merle Haggard? That people other colors do? You know, but it doesn't, it's like that shit doesn't matter. It's ridiculous, obviously, but it's also this beautiful artifact of music and art that's just astonishing. It just plays itself so perfectly. Some folk call me a rambling man, and I do a lot of thumbing and a kicking can, and it wouldn't do an ounce good to call me names. But daddy's name wasn't Willie Woodrow, he wasn't born and raised in no ghetto, just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. Well, I might find me a wealthy woman in a line of work that don't take no diploma. I ain't got much to lose, but lost the game. Well, some might call me a good time fella, cause I ain't no black and I ain't yellow. I want more looking for a place to do my thing. I don't want no handout living, don't want any part of anything they're giving, cause I'm proud of mine and I've got a song to sing. Well, I said a few things and I'll admit it. If you want to get ahead, you gotta hum and get it. I want more looking for a place to do my thing. Oh, music is just magical. You know, it's like that little ridiculous thing right there, that little ridiculous song that guy wrote is just magic. It's like, how did such magic come to be in the world? You know? Thanks a lot for being here still, people who are still here. I appreciate it. I'll see you later. I'm checking out for right now. Music is so magical. It really is, though. It's like, it's the truest form of magic that there is. How do people discover these things? You know, it's it gives me goose pimples.